Lake Superior Railroad Museum Intro 101. This is Duluth South Shore and Atlantic RS1, and it's numbered 101. The DSS&A bought 8 of these in 1945. Alco made the RS1 between 1940 and 1957. Total, they made 671. And as I said, 8 of them went to the Duluth South Shore and Atlantic, a railroad from here in Duluth to Michigan's Upper Peninsula, St. Ignace and Sault Ste. Marie. The RS1 has been requested for a segment here by many of our viewers, and I gotta admit, I'm one of them. This is actually one of my favorite engine models. I used to be a fan of the Green Bay and Western Railway in central Wisconsin. They'd come to a city near my hometown called Wisconsin Rapids, and I used to ride my bike up there to watch RS1 switch the paper mill. It was always a pretty big treat. So I agree with everyone that has sent in a request to see more about this locomotive. So that's what we're going to do, talk about it. But it's kind of got some secrets to it. The first one is that this is non-operational at this particular point. We have used it, it does run, but we need to do a little more work on it before we can call it dependably operating. So we're going to look at this as a non-operational locomotive, and one of the things that doesn't operate on it is the door lock. So we have a secret entrance. Up here in the cab of the RS-101, the Duluth South Shore and Atlantic used these because they were so versatile. RS stands for road switcher, which meant it was just at home on the main line hauling freights or passenger trains with a steam generator under the short hood, or switching in the yard or a plant. The RS1s were very versatile for that reason. Not all that powerful, but 1,000 horsepower back in 1945, that was pretty good for a diesel-electric locomotive. And as I said, they were built by the American Locomotive Company, and a very good product because they had stamina. They had lasting ability. And that's exactly what the RS1 did on the DSS&A. A railroad that struggled through most of its existence financially, this engine kept working for them right through the merger with the Soo Line to 1963, when they sold it to a coal hauling railroad down south in Indiana. They got rid of it and sold it to the Consolidated Barge and Grain Company, and they had it up until 1980. And that's when a couple of guys who were Soo Line enthusiasts and DSS&A enthusiasts also, by the name of Bill Plichta, Dave Pulse, and Martin C. Fair, and they got together and said, you know, we should save this. The first diesel engine on the DSS&A, a railroad that went from Duluth to Michigan's Upper Peninsula, it should be preserved here in the Lake Superior Railroad Museum. So those 3 guys got together and decided they were going to save the locomotive, went down, made it roadworthy, and saw that it was donated to the Lake Superior Railroad Museum by the DSSA subgroup. And we're very, very appreciative. Just a personal note, the guy that came up with it and financed most of the project, Bill Plichta, just left us recently, and we send our condolences to his family. But the rest of the crew is here and still working. Marty Fair is one of our great volunteers. We thank him. And they're responsible for saving this locomotive and putting it back into service. Here you see a picture of what it looked like when it came here. The paint job was supervised by Dan Mackey. He and his crew did the entire paint job on it, redid some of the interior of the cab, and made it look and work again. Not only did it look good, but it was running fine too. Here you see it on a freight special out on the North Shore Scenic Railroad. The video we're looking at is courtesy of C-Vision, and it's a video that you can get. We have it in our gift shop if you want to contact us. It has freight railway operations of a historic nature from all over, and this is just one of them in there. You can also get it online at cvpvision.com. It's a good locomotive, but very, very touchy. Let's take a look at some of the controls and I'll show you what I mean. And this is why it's still a work in progress. The engine is still constantly going through our updating and also our restoration. Very interesting, the throttle on this is kind of temperamental actually. And that's one of the problems we're having with it. It has brakes just like any other engine, a radio to communicate, and just the necessary gauges to let you know how the operation is going on. But one of the nice things about this, and what made it so popular, was the visibility that you got. Because of the smaller hood and the larger windows, actually this engine did have pretty good visibility for the engineer and for the conductor fireman while they were working on it. The first diesel-electric locomotive on the Duluth South Shore and Atlantic, one of 8 that they bought in 1945. By that time, the DSS&A was already running from Duluth to Michigan's Upper Peninsula. It was first chartered in 1886 when there was a kind of a conglomeration of little short lines in the UP. They all came together to start the Duluth South Shore and Atlantic. In 1888, the CP Railway took over, and they were pretty much a CP property for the rest of their existence. The railroad expanded in 1892, took them 2 years till 1894 to build from the Michigan Upper Peninsula to here in Duluth, Minnesota. So they were truly then the Duluth South Shore and Atlantic Railway. That went on until about 1958 when they discontinued passenger service. In 1961, they were merged with the Soo Line, which was already a CP-owned property, and that began the beginning of the end for DSS&A with their eventual abandonment altogether. The Duluth South Shore and Atlantic struggled for most of its existence. Some blame the Canadian ownership for that, others look at where the railroad went. Through a lot of area with not a lot of business to support a railroad. So in 1958 they suspended their passenger service, which pretty much sustained the Duluth end of the DSS&A. And as I said, eventually the railroad just faded away. Became parts of other railroads, or just became part of history. There are some things to remember about the DSS&A, and that was about its existence. The customers had a word for it. It was darn slow service and agony. Worse, its employees call it damn small salary and abuse. The railroad went away, but there are some remembrances of it. Down at North Freedom at the Mid-Continent Railway Museum, they're restoring one of their 7 that the railroad had of their sleeper cars. The only one left, which is called, coincidentally, the Duluth, is down there being restored. They also have one of the passenger coaches from the DSS&A as well. And of course, here in Duluth, we have the RS-101. So there's also a hiking trail in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Here you see one of the last bridges on that hiking trail over Agate Falls on the Ontonagon River. And of course, there's the memories of the history and all the people that worked for the DSS&A over its lifespan. Well, we remember a lot of things. I'm trying to remember last time I got a haircut. I could use another one. But in the meantime, everyone's making sacrifices, and we thank everyone for doing what they're supposed to do. It's so very important to wash your hands, cover your coughs, don't touch your face, keep that social distance. If you are sick, stay home. And as always, do it for us. Let's take care of everybody.